It's Linda MacPhee's Workshop. Here's Linda.
Hi, and welcome to the show. I do meet the most beautiful people. Well, you can decide if I think she's beautiful. We call her Dolly. And I met her at one of the shows that I did in Toronto. In fact, I loved her so much that my family bought her for me, so she now belongs to me. She was done by an artist in Ontario, and I just think she's beautiful. But my dilemma with her is, where was I going to put her? And what was I going to put her against, and where was she going to fit in my home? So I thought, you know, we need to make an Eiffel Tower. Seems to me she looks like she should be going to Paris and to the Eiffel Tower. So I said, let's make a wall hanging, sort of like the quilters do, but let's kind of make it easier and quicker. So Corrine, who works with me all the time, I put that challenge to you, Corrine, and I said, I think we can do this. And
it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it.
So we've created not one, but we've created two of them. So let's show the black one, because the black one was the one that we did first.
I think it's kind of the winter one.
So there it is. And you can see we pieced together a whole number of black fabrics. And those are little strips of fabric. When you see it up close, you can see that they're different fabrics. And then that fireworks thing, we thought Eiffel Tower must have fireworks. So we made that with our foiling, and that was fun. So we'll show how to do that.
It was. We just used fabrics that we had hanging around. Some were flat and some were shiny.
Yeah.
Different varying widths of strips, and we sewed some black ones together and put a black and white one on the bottom. So here is a close-up of the fabric. So we just kind of collect a bunch of things and put them all together like this. I was quite happy when we found the Eiffel Tower, because we said, what is the Eiffel Tower going to be? And this was some lycra that people use for kind of stretchy, hard to sew on.
Costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you fuse it and put your fusing, iron it on, pull it away, well, draw it on there before, pull it away, and then fuse it all down. And then all we had to do was a simple straight stitch around that whole thing.
Yeah, it was much easier to work with after it was fused down.
We kind of thought the bottom part of it looked a bit like buildings, so if we put the top part in black strips and then some pattern stuff at the bottom, it kind of looks like buildings.
We just put some blocks on the black and white to break it up for windows.
Yes, yeah. So that one I thought was quite good.
Our tower, we just this is the picture that we had from. We just did some proportion lines and drew it out on newsprint, and away we went.
Okay, so that was the first one. So let's get rid of that. So we'll put that over, actually, on the shelf there. Okay. And then that same week, remember that week?
We should talk about how we mounted it.
Oh, that's true. Easy. That's true. What did we do?
We got this. We sent her husband to the hardware store for this plastic corrugated stuff. It's great.
We just pulled it. Well, actually, you put a little bit of that on first.
Yeah, we just had a little bit of puffy backing on first. Just pulled it around, and we just duct taped it on the back. That's all there is on the back of that. So it was really fast.
That went very well.
Nobody looks at the back.
No, exactly. Okay, so then that same week, we got this fabric in. And, of course, I had ordered that fabric, but I didn't realize how beautiful it was going to be till it came in.
It is nice.
And then I said, oh, Dolly's red. I love red. Red and black is good. So let's make one in red and black. So actually, we have the red and black one up on the wall there, so you can have a look at that one, because if you see that, we've used the writing fabric in the middle. Here's another strip of plain black. Here's a strip of coordinate. Here's a strip of plain black. And this fabric came like that. So it's so simple these days. When the fabric comes like this, you don't even have to figure it out. This is our own black in the middle, and again, foiling on top of that.
And that's on Melton. It's on wool, so it doesn't fray.
So it doesn't fray.
Easy to work with.
So, yeah. So let us go. I'll come over here and show, because, first of all, that fireworks on that black one. Shall we show you how that goes? And I think this whole foiling technique, it's just wonderful. You have to have the right medium to have the foil adhere to it. But all we're going to do is kind of make it look like fireworks. Just kind of keep going. You did that one, and you made it a little bit more. So whatever. I mean, this stuff, you just put it on as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, I always like to do a little sample first, so you can see how it's going to turn out.
So this is what we did, sort of see how it was going to look. So you're going to let this dry. So this, we'll put that over there. This is what it looks like dry. So we have to have our Teflon sheet. Where did the Teflon sheet go?
You can try it without, I think. We usually use a Teflon sheet, but it should be okay.
Teflon sheet's a good idea, because then it protects your iron from everything. So here we go. And iron that with just a medium iron for about 10 seconds. And that's the worst, is just waiting for the 10 seconds. So put some heat on that. Let it cool.
Yeah. While it's cooling, shall I show you these new nibs that we got?
Yes.
When we did our first sample for the Eiffel Tower, it was pretty thick lines.
There we go.
What you get right out of the bottle.
Look.
That's great.
Isn't it exciting every time you do this? You think, oh, yeah.
It always, I was like, oh, it works. It works.
And there's various colors of this. I mean, you could do, this was a multicolor, so this was kind of perfect. But it could be whatever color you want. You do the fine one. You come over here and do the fine one, because I think that's great.
We have these nibs. Normally we just get the glue right out of the bottle. But there's these little nibs, and they just have tiny little holes in them. It's amazing. You just stick it on the top and give it a screw, even though there's no screw things on the top of the bottle. And it just comes out the very same way. Of course, this is plugged. It would be.
Plugged?
It would be.
Well, here's a pin that we could also unplug it
I'll
probably.
just get a different one out.
Okay. Wash them out. I mean, that's the joy of this.
There we
you
go.
Wash those out after you use them. But
And
look,
it makes a very fine line. It's
so
easy.
you tried it over on this sample to sort of see how fine you could get, and you can really get quite intricate with this.
So that's what we used for the tower.
Yeah.
Just so that it was finer work.
Yeah.
And speaking of fine work.
Yes. Oh, do you want us to bring that one? Are you going to foil this one? Because this one would be an ideal one in the gold. And the foiling, you use this over and over.
Yeah.
So if you can see, this is already kind of
Part
used
of it's all used
up.
away.
But you just keep on going with it.
Yeah.
And it'll catch some of the foil, and it'll,
We have some sheets that hardly have any on, but we just keep using them.
Yep. Over and
And
over.
if you kind of scrub with the edge of the iron, you get
Actually, yeah,
really,
I often do it on the side, kind of just take your iron.
If you got a thick one, then it gets over all the bumps on the glue.
Yeah. But here, the way I often do it, I often go right down with the, like that. And it just kind of depends how thick and, just, so you can get all the edges and all the ridges. So there we go. And, of course, let that cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
See? It looks great.
It is just magic. Can you imagine the fun kids would have with this? I mean, you can foil everything. I mean, we could put some, here we go, we could keep on, garments.
I know, Linda, we're going to be so bright and bedazzling as we walk down
the
street.
This was what we did then when Corrine and I started to play. We said, okay, could we not make this foiling look like stitching?
Because we do these free motion jackets.
All the time. So we said, well, that sort of looks like stitching. There is the machine stitching, and there is our foiling stitching, and there is some more foiling stitching. So here is the beginning of a jacket. And this is going to be on the front, and here is my foiling stitching. So I'm not saying you don't need to sew. I'm not saying that at all. But if you don't really be wanting to sew and you don't have a machine there and you want to get going on whatever, you could do it with the foiling. So there it is with foiling.
And don't you think it just jazzes it up compared to the plain one?
Yeah. You could also stitch with this, too.
Yes.
I mean, you could stitch and foil. And
in fact, I did do a bit of stitching on this one here.
Yeah, it does make a nice, fun idea. In fact, if you want to see the whole thing stitched, here is one of our stitched ones. And we are continually talking about doing fun stitching like that. So that does give you quite a neat idea. So there we go. So I think once we put all this together, once we put this, I'll just get rid of this. All we have to do then is take your fine nib, do the stitching or do the foiling on here, stitch it down.
Yes.
And just a straight stitch around the whole thing.
And we did foil it before because if, heaven forbid, anything does go wrong, then you can just cut out another one.
Yeah. But the joy of this, of course, is that it doesn't fray, it's melting, so it works out so well. So I think it's just kind of fun. Actually, we couldn't resist.
Oh, leftovers, yes.
Yes. I mean, if you're going to have this on the wall with Dolly against it sitting on the shelf, why not do the runner?
Your dining room with your
reach over
chopsticks and
and all it is just the leftover pieces of fabric. And you just put one along the edge and
just put a strip along the edge. This is so easy to do, I love this corner. It's actually just the straight part. And I'll turn it inside out.
Right sides together,
Yeah. You just fold the end of the runner right sides together, stitch across it, and then when you open it out, you get a perfect point.
And then, of course, we need a tassel. We didn't get a tassel yet. We need a tassel.
And then that just sits at the back.
Yeah. That does make for perfect. So, again, you can decorate. We don't really call this quilting. This is just kind of making stuff, but you could put some puffing behind it when you frame it again, when you do it. So, this is just kind of fun and and I think there might be some other inspirations. You might have some other ideas of where you need something on the wall and taking pieces of fabric, and we're not really calling it quilting. We're just kind of calling it playing. So, thanks, Corrine. That was great. That was great. So, don't go away because there's more. Canadian Craft and Hobby Association here in Calgary, and I love these kind of places because there's so many people, there's stuff going on all over the place, and I meet so many neat and interesting people, just like my guest, Eva Holden.
Hi,
welcome.
Linda. How are you?
From Warm and Natural. You've come with all your goodies. I met you at a show like this.
Right.
Isn't that where I...
Many, many years ago.
Yes.
And I keep producing, and you keep coming up with new ideas.
And I love to see what you've made new and what you're doing. And I mean, this looks strangely... This is a necklace, and I see there's earrings to match, and it looks strangely like what we've got over here on the wall.
Yeah.
Is this what we're going to do today?
That's what we're doing today.
They look really cute. What are they doing? What are they? Do you make these are kind of big for necklaces, aren't they?
They're not necklaces. Okay. Those are handy heart pot holders. Easy way to kind of get stuff out of the oven and feel protected.
And they look pretty. You can put them on your wall.
You can use them as a trivet. You can put them on your wall. You can mail them to friends, then they become pockets.
Okay.
And they're also functional. You can actually use them to get stuff out of the oven.
Like I won't burn myself.
No.
What I think is kind of neat is that I could have matching.
Not bad.
Yeah, that's right. We could have matching ones.
This one you could probably use to get something tiny out of your microwave.
Okay, so let me see. How are we going to do this? What do we need?
All right. To make these pot holders, what I'm using is, and I want to show you this new product from the Worm Company. It's been out for a while, but now it's just been rediscovered. It's an insulated batting. It's got polyester batting on both sides and a mylar inside.
Yeah.
So it's insulated, so you can use it for pot holders, table runners, placemats.
Anything that you want the insulating quality.
Not just hot, but you can also use it for cold. So like if you want to make that special lunch carrier for someone, you could use this inside lunch bag, and it would also keep your products cold, your food cold.
And it's washable and all the good stuff.
Washable, yes.
No, don't need to pre-wash it.
Nope, you don't need to pre-wash it. It's been needle punched to it.
Okay.
And it has that nice kind of crinkly sound that people like. They go, what's in your pot holder?
That we might need this for quite a few things. So you're going to use it for this. Okay, what else do we need?
All right. Then what we also need is we also want to use a cotton batting to give it extra protection, because people love pot holders when they have extra in them. If you feel this, it's not just one layer.
Yes, I was thinking that if I just had that against me and the oven, it's not
enough.
No.
So what I like to do...
How much of this? We're going to put a couple of these?
I put one layer of the insulated batting, and then I use 2 layers of cotton batting, and then I have my fabric, and then I have what I call the lining piece.
Okay.
So what I like to do is, I'm kind of lazy, so I like to do all my cutting all at once. So what I'll do is put this down, the insulated batting, 2 layers of cotton batting, and my lining.
Okay, that should
stick my pattern on, and I take my rotary cutter, and I'll just cut all the way around and go do all of the layers together.
Excellent.
Then once I'm done with that, then what I like to do is take all of my layers and zigzag around it. And you saw I cut this out all together.
Yep.
But somehow when I'm sewing, it just seems to kind of get off just a little bit.
It does, but it's a big deal. So you just trim it off. I can just tell.
Then I take my scissors and trim it off.
Yeah. You sew like I do, except that you use the wrong hand. I noticed that.
Oh, I'm blessed.
Yeah, okay, but that's okay.
So we're a good team.
We are. It's perfect. Okay.
All right. Then the next part is we want to create these flaps. So what I'll do is I'll do the same thing. I will take I have in the flaps, if you'll feel, there's also a little bit of batting there. So I'll take 1 layer of batting and 2 pieces of fabric, and I will cut
because
again.
This is going to be finished. Okay.
Correct. Then what I do is I take that, and then I take the batting and I cut the batting in half, so I have batting for each side.
Okay.
And then I'm going to layer this, and then we're going to put...
You invented this, didn't you?
Well, I kind of had fun doing it.
Yeah, like you made a pattern and you've got all that stuff for this.
I taught a class, and the class filled very rapidly, and so I was challenged to write the pattern.
It would be a great little kind of gift idea for...
Very good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So what is this doing? It's just kind of giving it some body?
It gives it body. It's cording, and then what I like to do is use either a zipper foot or a cording foot so that you stitch right along the edge of the cording.
Yeah, so you could move your needle if you had to, or you could use your foot and stitch right along there. So it just gives it a nice little finish.
Right.
Yeah.
Then what we're going to do is take our large heart, and we're going to add the flaps to it, and when you put these in place,
there's supposed to be a hole there.
You want to make sure that you've got a hole there, because if you place it too close, Linda, it's going to be real hard to stick your hand in, because you'll notice how easy it is to put your hand when there's some distance there. So you want to position it like that.
And then, again, we want to go back to our sewing machine, and we want to zigzag all the way around so that now it's really like you have one layer, although you've got multi-layers
So
here.
I would suppose one thing is to watch that you do have it on the back. I mean, when you zigzag, you're kind of going on faith here, hoping you've got them all, so I would think. And this would also, I would imagine, help when you're going to bind it, because it holds it so well.
Well, because then if you've got, young girls learning how to sew, it's much easier to have all the layers rather than having pins. The other thing is if your sewing machine has a walking foot, this is a great chance to use your walking foot.
I can see that.
And again, you sew, and if for some reason you've got
a little bit, things happen.
Then you use your scissors, and I'll use my left, and you use your right one.
We're in business.
All right. The next step is you'll notice I have a piece of ribbon. Sometimes people don't want these to get messy. What they'll want to do is they'll want to hang them. So if you ever teach a class, you tell the gals when they go home from the class that it's not a pot holder. They tell their husband it's a mini wall hanging.
All right. Because you could go and buy a pot holder, you mean, for cheap.
That's correct.
Guys sometimes don't understand why you want to go all this trouble.
The other fun thing that I do is, and I can't find my package, I have
Which package? The bias tape package.
The bias tape. Oh, here it is. Okay. One of these packages of the double fold extra wide bias tape will make 4 pot holders.
Good.
So that's another good thing to pick up the bias tape.
I do love the wide because the narrow stuff, it seems like you miss it. This you're not going to miss.
That's right.
Well, you could, but it's not.
But what I like to do, if you'll notice the pot holders, when I sew the bias tape and do a decorative stitch on the front, I'm focused on the front of the pot holder, Linda, because I want that to look nice. I'm really not that concerned about the back if the decorative stitch doesn't catch.
And the pots in the oven don't really care either. So, I mean,
Or people that you give this to as a gift, they really don't care either because...
Okay, let's keep on going. We've got to get this done. So how do we do this?
All right, what you're going to do is take the bias tape and you're going to start sewing it from the back of the heart up at the top. I call this the low cleavage.
Show that to the camera. Okay, then we're just going to overlap it when it comes around. So when you go around a curve, is there a trick?
Not at all, because it's bias tape. It just conforms to the curve.
Okay.
So you want to sew it to the back.
Overlap it.
Then you're going to flip it to the front.
Okay.
And what you're going to do now is do a decorative stitch along here.
Okay, what happens when this overlaps?
What you do is when you come around on your sewing machine, you want to just take your scissors, your snippers, stick it in, and just sew all the way around.
Okay.
And then you add the
and you would suggest a decorative stitch is a good way to do it. In fact, I think what I like about this is if you did a straight stitch, you might miss something. This way you're going to hit everything.
You can use a zigzag blanket stitch, a scallop stitch.
Okay.
The other fun thing is if you're not into sewing decorative stitches, you can take the fusible web and stick the fusible web all the way around. So like on this one, I can go through and put my fusible web, which has paper on one side, go all the way around, peel off the paper backing, and then just press it down to the front.
And then, of course, you could stitch it or not stitch it, whatever you want.
That's right.
Yeah, depends how much time you have, I bet.
That's right.
And we are running out of time. You've got some other wonderful things to show.
The other, we were talking about using the insulated batting. Another great way is to use it for placemats. One layer, and if you want an extra thick layer, you can put another layer of cotton batting.
So you've got just one layer in here.
One layer in this one. They're also good for table runners.
But so you put the 2 layers right sides together.
Correct.
And basically stitch around, trim all that off. And then cut off your corners, flip it out through here.
And then turn it through here. And then I also used, this is where my opening was. Another great way for the fusible web is to put a piece of fusible web here and then just steam it closed, and no one will know.
Okay, that is a good one. Okay. All right. And then I think this is the greatest ring. We have sewing retreats all the time, and people come with all this stuff. And you're saying, okay, so what's this about?
Okay. This is an ironing pad ensemble, and what it is, it's an ironing pad.
So this becomes your ironing board.
This is your ironing board at a retreat.
So how many thicknesses would you have in here?
Okay, in here I have the outside where you see the handle. I have 1 layer of the insulated batting, a layer of cotton batting, and another layer of insulated batting. So the ironing pad has 3 layers. It's 2 of the insulated material, and then 1 of cotton. The ironing carriers have the same.
Okay.
They have you can put 2 layers of the insulated batting and do it exactly the same as this.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, like at your sewing retreats, which I've heard are just fabulous. I haven't made it up yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, this is true. People go right till the very end. I mean, I don't unplug the irons and all of a sudden the iron's hot. What do you do?
Right. And most people, they have a towel or they expect someone to hold their iron and cool it up.
Yeah.
And this way, what you can do is take your travel iron. You can iron to the very last minute, stick it inside, put your ironing cord in here. Yeah. That way you can sew that last seam. Yeah. Stick everything in here if you've got your quilt blocks, materials. Yes, fold up, tie up the sides, and
we're set to go.
You're ready to go.
Thank you so much, Eva. This has been great fun. We've got all kinds of stuff going with all these products that you brought. You're going to have to come back again. There's no question.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, okay.
I'd be happy to come again.
Okay.
This is fun.
Okay, this is great. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Well, we're on the subject of home deck, and Corrine is still here. I want to show you some of the summer cushions that we made. And you might remember from a few programs ago, we did some winter ones. Corrine, come in and help me with this. And it's good to have you back. You're still here.
I'm still here.
Yeah. We remember when we came up with these?
I do remember.
Yeah, we were looking to instantly decorate your place for Christmas.
We wanted something really fast.
Yeah.
Durable, so you throw it in the washing machine.
Yeah, take your regular cushions that have got whatever and stick them in here, put these on, and all of a sudden you've got a Christmassy looking place. And all that we did was really cut them out of fleece. We actually cut them the same size as your cushion that you're covering.
Yeah, if it's a 16-inch cushion, cut a 16-inch square. That way it'll be nice and snug.
Snug, yeah. And then we just cut petals of poinsettias or whatever you want that's Christmassy, zigzag, and it's just a loose, wide zigzag with invisible thread right along that edge, and it just holds it all down, and the fleece on the fleece gives it that kind of puffiness. So that was our sort of, we thought, well, a runner, so we did a runner, and then we thought about those ones, the snowflakes. So then we said, how are we going to do them for summer?
Yes, how are we going to do them
for
for summer?
So there's a couple of summer ones right over there. And we said, well, you can have some flowers. And I like the idea of flowers going both ways, so there's no really up and down to that. It's just kind of there. And then this big green one. Should we just pull that one out? Because it's kind of tough to see it. And there's the green one. And it's just kind of a great big abstract flower on it. So you can just do whatever.
Yeah, we drew some out on paper.
So here is, there's. Yeah. So there's one, there's one, there's one. So you could make summer cushions or whatever. And it is kind of nice, even if it isn't summer yet, to do this, because it makes it feel like summer if you've got these out there.
And, of course, at the workshop, we always have different pieces of fabric, so why limit ourselves to fleece?
Right. So then we said, well, some of this would be nice, because you might have this as another cushion, a plain cushion we find in this. So we put our applique on here, stitched a little bit down. Show us how you do this fun stuff, because we thought this was good fun.
This is great. Yep. If you have a good quality fleece, and you do need the good quality that's nice and thick, and you just cut a very thin strip on the cross grain. It has to be on the cross grain.
It's probably enough to show it. Okay, then you take that and you pull it. And when you pull it, it goes all kinky. Well, it could be even finer than that. And when it goes kinky, then that goes in the middle.
It does. This is, see, this is how we get all this textured stuff.
That's exactly what you do. So you sew all this stuff down. We got to go. We're out of time. So it's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah,
see you next time, and we'll have more fun all over again. Join us.
To receive the companion book for this series, send $19.98 to the address on your screen or call 1-888-MacPhee's.